This weekend, Saturday specifically. I'm saying Saturday because I have to keep reminding myself it's on Saturday. We go to the 2022 Royal Rumble. Correct me if I'm wrong, Ian. Is this the first Royal Rumble that we've had now in 2 years that's going to be before an audience?
Yes. The last one was 2020. Because, yeah.
Because that was the one where Lesnar dominated something fierce, right?
Well, yeah, that was the one where Edge came back. Lesnar had a tear for like half the field, and then McIntyre had his golden moment of Claymore and Lesnar right out of the Rumble and made him a made man, to be perfectly honest. So it's yeah.
Yeah, I've not gone back and watched that Rumble, but off the top of my head, I think that's one of my favourites.
It was a good Rumble.
There was some great storytelling. We got Brock Lesnar being so up for fighting Keith Lee, and we never got that. Like when he just came in the ring, you said, "Oh, big boy."
It's like I want to fight this guy,
right?
It's that wonderful gift of Brock Lesnar just going, "Who's this guy?"
Brock Lesnar's great when he's happy. So the way we're going to do this, folks, is we're going to sort of run down the card, go through a little bit with each match, as it were, kind of lay of the land, and we'll get some thoughts on each. To run down the card just quickly, just as a very quick skim through, we've obviously got the two men's championship matches, the world championship matches, effectively. We've got Lashley versus Lesnar, and then Reigns v Rollins. We've got I'm guessing it's mixed tag team match as opposed to intergender. Yep. It's Miz and Maryse against Edge and Beth Pheonix. For the Raw Women's Championship, it's Becky versus Doudrop, or Doudrop, as you'll probably hear me call her. Obviously, Women's Rumble, Men's Rumble match. And actually, that is the card. That's probably going to be a decent card on paper. I think this could be a really solid premium live event.
Yes, we're using the magic word, premium live event, not newfangled tangle.
The PLE.
Oh God, no. Yes.
The plea.
I think because I think this is a stadium show as well. So I think this. I hope we've got a great crowd and it's going to be a fun event. Because it's like I think I've said this before. Royal Rumble's really like my favorite pay-per-view of the year. It's kind of like it's a chance to kind of start building afresh some really cool stories, or start really finalizing some stories and so forth. And I've heard this on a couple of podcasts and YouTube videos. Basically, you may have fallen out with WWE for a couple of months or so forth, but this is the match where you can potentially jump back in and go, okay, so this is the talent to watch and so forth.
It's literally what I said about Survivor Series. Do you remember when we talked about that? Yeah. And I think I used something to that, literally those words to that effect of it's a chance to see a lot of people kind of get a lay of the land of what's the current talent in WWE. Obviously, on that night, Austin Theory stood out for a good reason. But yeah, I completely agree with you. The Rumble is a great chance just for something really random and fun, get a little taster for a heck of a lot of people. Yeah. Especially in recent years, since we've now had 2 Rumbles per Rumble pay-per-view. Yeah,
and when you look at some of the outside of the Rumble matches themselves, you look at the big championship matches. I mean, you look at the WWE Championship, you get in a dream match. The first time ever, Brock Lesnar, Bobby Lashley. It's a match that still seems very surreal to me to be actually happening.
I can't wait.
But it's going to happen. And
it's going to be a harsh battle.
And again, it's like, I hope the crowd really get behind that match as well. I think if you got a really hot crowd, they could do something special. I think that match in particular is going to be fast, it's going to be furious, and it's going to be, as Big E would say on that A New Day Rocks podcast, it's big meaty men smacking me.
Yep,
in
literally
that sort of way.
It's a perfect description.
And then you've got Reigns versus Rollins for the Universal Championship. Again, they have really good matches together, and I think this is the first time they've actually had like a proper one-on-one since, I think, Money in the Bank, where Rollins beat Reigns for the WWE Championship, only to lose it 10 seconds later to Dean Ambrose, now Moxley. It's like in that one weird 20-minute space, all members of the Shield had a belt.
Now you mention it.
It's like, they've all been champion in the same night. What a gives. But no, it's like for the majority of this card, I'm excited. I think this, it's like, as long as competent wrestling decent storytelling. I think this could be a nice kickstart to 2022. I mean, we've had day one, and day one kind of over-delivered a little bit, to be perfectly honest. Because I mean, we're all just kind of going, yeah, this is going to be pretty serviceable, not an eventful pay-per-view. Oh, how wrong we were.
Indeed.
But yeah,
I guess a big question then, just both of our opinions, which Rumble, assuming the Rumble is the last match of the night, which Rumble will go on last? The women's or the men's? Which do you think?
I think the men's.
Agreed.
I think the men's, simply because of what may happen in the evening when we do our little predictions and kind of overviews of the matches. I would love a Rumble to open the pay-per-view. I can see that happening. But then again, you go out the gates firing all cylinders and put one of the men's championship matches in, or kick off with Becky versus Doudrop. So yes.
So let's go to the two men's title matches then for the evening. First of all, Lashley and Lesnar. Now, admittedly, I'm not fully up to date on what's been going on recently, but I get the impression that Brock Lesnar, from what I've anecdotally read, ain't exactly taking Lashley seriously.
No, he's been going with the Bobby Who. They had a really good promo a couple of weeks where they were trash talking, and basically I think it all boiled down to Lesnar going, it's like, you know what they keep saying? Bobby Who? So it's like, who are you, Bobby? It's like that's why we haven't met, because I don't know and I don't care who you are in that sort of sense. In that way, and it's like, fair enough. That's grounds, I suppose. But
Heyman is also back with Lesnar now, right?
Yes. He turned up with Lesnar the day after day one.
So you mean on day two?
On day two? No,
day
day
three technically.
Day three. But then, yeah. I think in actual fact, it's probably best to kind of put both the men's championship matches into together in this, because I think whatever happens here, if things happen here, it's going to affect the men's Rumble. So the likelihood and what people have been kind of talking about and kind of thinking from a storyline perspective is the plan has always been Reigns versus Lesnar at Mania, with Reigns getting that definitive win at long last over Brock at a Mania. And obviously it will be for a belt. It probably would be for a belt, to be perfectly honest. So with that logic...
The belt holding up his trousers.
With that logic, I kind of see Lesnar beating Lashley, but I kind of also see Rollins beating Reigns for the Universal Championship. And it's a bit, and it's like, okay, from a storyline perspective, it does kind of work. But considering Reigns has been champion for like 504 plus days, and he's well into the 500s now, and you want a big defining moment, it's like, is Rollins the person to take it? Because then Reigns could still win, keep his belt. There are so many different things that can happen with these two matches. My gut tells me Lesnar retains, Reigns loses. My dream scenario, my utter dream scenario, and this could be real fantasy booking. What if they both lose their titles on Saturday? I think that would be like an unexpected curveball, and it's like, oh wow, they haven't got belts and they want to be champion. What do? They both enter the Rumble. They both eliminate each other, and it becomes a crazy cat and mouse. One of them will probably pick up a belt along the way towards Mania, and then they'll have their blow-off match.
Chamber in, this horrible phrase I'm about to say, Elimination Chamber in Saudi, right?
Yeah, February, and then Fastlane, I think, in March.
Oh, is Fastlane still a thing? Flippin' heck. All right.
There's Fastlane, or there may be something else. There may be another event. They've been rumours, but I'm not entirely certain, to be perfect.
Of course.
But it's like, for a fan, that would be an exciting storyline. That would be a cool storyline. It's like, yeah, okay, we can't. It's like, yeah, one's going to hold the belt all the way to Mania. What if they're so desperate to be the top dog or the top champion WWE that they're literally costing each other the belts at every opportunity, right up until one of them finally grabs a belt and they have their match at Mania? It does mean someone is to be a temporary champion, but I think for the benefit of the story, it could work. I would like that. I personally would love that as a storyline, and I think it would be quite fun. And then you'd be really invested in what Lesnar and Reigns do. I think that would be amazing. But I know full well WWE aren't going to do that, are they? One of them is going to hold a belt. There's been, I don't think people have been saying that they're not expecting a title versus title match, which I'm quite happy to hear. But that technically does tell me one of these champions is losing their belt on Saturday.
Unless they wait for Elimination Chamber.
Again, yeah, they could do it Elimination Chamber as well. Yeah. I mean, it's like Cena won his belt at the Royal Rumble and then lost it 2 weeks later at Elimination Chamber to Bray Wyatt. So,
and Edge originally won it at the Royal Rumble, then lost it a couple of weeks later. Oh no, sorry, he won it at New Year's Revolution, then lost it 2 weeks later to John Cena at the Rumble pay-per-view, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, so there's plenty of opportunities for it to do.
I think Lesnar's going to lose the belt because of Heyman.
Okay, that might be an opportunity.
Because I'm not sure what Heyman's been. Again, I haven't really seen much, so I don't know how he's been acting around Lesnar or anything.
He's been all right. I'm with you. I think Heyman is going to turn on Lesnar again, but I think he'll be at Mania. That's my kind of.
But then is that the definitive
booking.
win that they want for Roman?
Possibly.
That you were mentioning.
Possibly, I'm not sure. Again, it's like I think this is a good thing about the Rumble. At least is there are so many possibilities in these two matches. It could set up any number of interesting kind of side routes to Mania for these two. I mean, I think we're all resigned to the fact we are getting Lesnar Reigns, which is all right, but considering the characters that they are now, I would take a Lesnar Reigns match with these characters now over what we have for like WrestleMania 34 in New Orleans and
Cowboy Brock versus the head of the table.
Yeah, absolutely fine, and they're both having fun with their characters, so it's absolutely fine. So you're saying Lesnar's losing his belt. I'm saying Reigns is losing his belt.
Lashley to beat Lesnar for the belt because of Heyman, and then Rollins to get pinned by Reigns.
Yeah.
Also, I think the Usos are banned from ringside for that match as well. I think I read somewhere.
They are as well. Or they both retain, and whatever happens. It's like what a WWE gonna. It's like you kind of think they're going to do the obvious, but then you go, no, that can't be. They can't be that safe. They can't be that safe. They want to try and do something that will really make people either A, annoyed, or B, go, what the f.
I'll tell you how to annoy people.
What?
Lashley v Lesnar is first on the pay-per-view. Sorry, the premium live event.
Yeah, premium live event. Okay.
And Heyman costs Lesnar the belt, and then the storyline for the rest of the night is that he's trying to run away from Lesnar because he knows. Now, the Usos are banned from ringside in the other title match, but Heyman isn't.
No.
So Heyman comes out in a panic being like, Roman, help me! And then Roman could be like, I'm in a match. What the hell? And then, he gets in the ring. Lesnar comes pelting it down to the ringside. He tries to, spear or something to Heyman, but then catches Rollins. And then Brock gets dumped out the ring. And then Roman does, another Superman punch or something of his own. And then just pins Rollins. Which then could then set up a fun random encounter between Rollins and Lesnar for a month or something. As a little, you cost me this. Yeah. Heyman cost me. And it all kind of aligns back to, I was about to say to the Shield, but I meant the head of the table.
Oh, God. Yeah, I think we'll have to see. I'm intrigued. I think these matches will be good. I think these matches will be fun to watch. It's just, I don't know how it's going to unfold. And that makes me excited, but also terrified at the same time. When it comes to the men's rumble, we'll talk about it a little bit later on. I
was going to say, you know what else I know probably makes you terrified, based on what you've anecdotally noted to me? Are you terrified for this Miz and Maryse v Edge and Beth match? I think the words you said to me were, you want this to end.
I think I've not been a fan of the feud. It's like they had an okay match at day one. It was kind of signposted at the end that this is where we were going. And I think it'll be fine. I think it'll be an okay match. I think, to be perfectly honest, I think this will be halfway through the show, and this will be a palate cleanser after like a Rumble or like a big championship match, and it will calm people down, and then we go again for the next big match.
We calm people down by putting Miz on my TV. I offend.
But he's awesome.
I disagree. Did I ever tell you what I thought his theme music used to say? Because I didn't realise it. I didn't realise it.
I was like, I came to play. Now fall down on your knees and pray, or something like that. Was that?
No. I thought it said, "I can't compare."
Oh, but it's not that, is it?
I can't compare. Yeah. And I'm just thinking that makes no sense. Can't compare to what? And then someone said, "It says I came to play," and it's like that makes less sense. You're a wrestler.
But he did come to play. He's come to play in sports entertainment, and here he is. Anyway, yeah, I think this will be fine. I think that there'll be some fun pops. We'll have some fun moments. I see Edge and Beth winning, unless the feud must continue to Mania, which I really don't want to see, to be perfectly honest. But that's me. Other fans have been a bit more supportive. That's absolutely fine. But I
want this to be good for all involved. I want it to come across well. It's just, even on paper, the idea of the match just doesn't light my world on fire.
Like I said, it'll be a palate cleanser. It'll be a palate cleanser.
I'm half expecting Beth will pin Maryse.
Yeah.
That's what it says to me, but...
Yeah. I would like the feud to finish up after this, and then Edge can look forward to... We can get a nice match ready for Edge for WrestleMania or so forth. Maybe put him in with AJ Styles. Who knows?
Mate, that'd be a good match. Flipping heck.
Yeah. A nice fun exhibition match. There you go. Lovely. No titles, just dream match. There you go. There's a great Mania feud right there.
Yep. And there's a lot they could probably build on as well, like all their accomplishments and whatnot and stuff. But speaking of accomplishments, the current Raw Women's Champion, Becky Lynch, defending against Scotland's own Doudrop. Now, one of the videos I have seen is the sort of like, I almost called it Mark Henry style main event press conference because of what AEW do on Rampage every week. But like the sort of the picture in picture, kind of like the format we're on now on the video version of this.
Yeah,
like sort of sit down interview with both of them. And it was the most wonderfully Irish Scottish thing I've seen in quite a while. Like I've missed. I nearly called her Viper because that used to be her name in ICW and like Piper Niven and stuff. But I've really missed hearing her talk and stuff. And I'm really up for this match because I think this is going to be really good fun. These two will probably want to. I was going to say beat the piss out of each other, but I feel like it's going to be a match like that. Kind of. I didn't mention it, but it's like Lashley and Lesnar. I see that being a very quick match, maybe something akin to what we saw at Day One in the main event. I feel like that's going to be a really quick barn burner, as it were.
It's going to be, with Lashley and Lesnar, it's going to be power move after power move after power move. So you have a suplex, and then Lashley will do something, and then more suplexes. Eventually, there'll be a hurt lock. There may be an F5. There will be an F5, but who knows? But yeah, I think with Becky and Doudrop, I think this match will be longer than that one. And yeah, I think it'll be power from Doudrop against the technician of Becky Lynch. I still think she's going to... I think Lynch will retain. I think Lynch will cheat to retain again. So they've been playing that sort of holding the rope side of things. I can see that happening again in order to keep the belt on Becky. It's like I'm looking forward to this. This is a fresh matchup. I've not seen Doudrop against Becky before. It's like a first time matchup for a belt. This should be quite good fun. So yeah, I'm in no way going into the match thinking Doudrop's going to take the World Women's Champion. I think Becky's holding the belt all the way to Mania, but I would like this to be a really good demonstration of how talented a performer Doudrop is. And also...
Agreed, 100%. I also want it to continue to be a good showcase of the talent, quite frankly, that the WWE women's roster has. Because it's a really... They've got such a deep roster. Like, the match with Liv that I saw was great. It was really freaking good, and I think this is also going to be really great fun. Speaking of the women, because I think that's a nice little segue, actually, the Women's Rumble match. So, as of time of broadcast and recording, there are 21 names confirmed for this Rumble match. I just for reference, I will just quickly read out the names. in no particular order, Rhea Ripley, Nikki ASH, Dana Brooke, Carmella, Queen Zelina, Tamina, Shotzi, Natalya, Aaliyah, Naomi, Shayna Baszler, Charlotte Flair, Nikki Bella, Brie Bella, Lita, Michelle McCool, Kelly, Summer Rae, Impact Women's Knockout Champion Mickie James, Bianca Belair, and Liv Morgan.
There you go. Look, with 9 names still to be announced, that is a nice, diverse rumble of talent, which is really nice to see. You've got legends, you've got current stars, you've got current superstars, and then you've got future superstars in there as well.
The other detail I didn't actually mention is that Charlotte is currently the SmackDown Women's Champion.
Yes, so she's attempted to do a Brock by going in and trying to win it. I don't think she's going to win it, to be perfectly honest. But
do you reckon she'll be one of the final 4?
Maybe. Just a little heads up as well. There is a major story going on around the Rumbles, and in particular one potential name entering one of the Rumbles this
around
weekend.
the wrestling world.
Around the wrestling world. So, just for the benefit of we had a chat before we went live. Jeremy wants to go into the Rumbles a bit fresh, so he doesn't want any sudden surprises or big spoilers. So I am not going to reference that particular news story, but by all means, I think it's interesting. It makes things a little bit exciting for the Rumbles. It's always good to have a little bit of surprise. I know a lot of people are a little bit down on the fact that majority of the women's wrestlers were announced for the Women's Rumble. But I think we talked about the impact, ironically the worded, impact that just saying Mickie James was in the Rumble and how much of it was good publicity for Impact in general, and it got people talking, all that sort of stuff. So yeah, sometimes when you have some shock surprises ahead of time, it can work.
Yeah, one of the other news stories that's been doing the rounds actually is that I forget their current name in Impact as a tag team, but the former
the Inspiration.
Thank you. I was about to say the Irresistible. I was very wrong. But the Inspiration, the former Iconics, were apparently approached to be in the Rumble, and they both declined to take part. Which, what? Good on them.
Yeah.
And I think they actually said because they just want to prove themselves more in Impact or something to that effect.
Yeah, and also, I think it'd been noted by places like Fightful in particular that they'd gone to talk to wrestlers in Impact who had been released by WWE. Not necessarily wrestlers in Impact as well, but just WWE wrestlers who were released who are now working in Impact. And to be honest, it's it's a little bit silly to kind of. It depends.
We're releasing everyone and trying to get them back for a one-off.
Yeah,
is a bit.
We're sorry we released you. Come back for a Rumble, maybe? No. Okay. And it's I think they're totally right in their decision there. I
agree.
I think in terms of Mickie James, I think there were particular things in place to allow Mickie James to do the Rumble, and obviously some things that I think they asked for, which WWE have said fine. But I can't imagine them doing it for every talent they try to contact to be in the Rumble, to be perfectly honest. But anyway, so no inspiration there. But there are some potential names that could return. And they've been injured, and some people have been injured, and they may be due ready to return. Oscar is one of those. Oscars is one of the names to return. We haven't seen Oscar since September, October time. So
freaking Bayley's been out for nearly a year. We were talking about that on day one. Could she be a possibility, maybe?
Yeah. I think if they are both cleared, I would say this is the perfect time to bring them in.
Agreed.
To be very honest, because again, it's big names, big surprises, and you get that return pop as well. And again, you could also go to NXT 2.0. There is some established talent in there you can bring into the Rumble to fill up numbers, and also demonstrate who these characters are when they come to the main roster. Raquel Gonzalez, Io Shirai, they're pretty much ready to go to the main roster now. I think a lot of people expect to be on the main roster by now, but clearly they're not at the moment.
Yeah, Io Shirai's been ready for a long time.
Yeah. And again, there's some history there with Charlotte and Rhea. She beat them in a triple threat in Your House last year to win the NXT Women's Championship.
They had the women's title match at WrestleMania, didn't they?
Oh no, not last year. not last year, 2 years ago. Yeah, it was the Performance Center NXT.
The empty arena WrestleMania.
Yeah, that was my bad. I said last year. No, I meant 2020.
To be honest, mate, at this point it all blends.
It all blends, but there is history there as well. So again, you could see some little fun bits and pieces there going on there as well. So I imagine we will see some returns, and I imagine we'll see some NXT 2.0 talents popping in as well. I can't really see anyone else popping in from other companies or anything like that. This one in particular. But no, and again, if you're trying to advance the Sonya Deville Naomi storyline, Sonya Deville's also a good shout to be in the Rumble. She'll probably enter the Rumble and cross Naomi at some point.
Yeah,
I would not put that past. I would not put it past the bookings ideas. But in terms of winning the Women's Rumble, like I said, I can't see Charlotte winning. To me, it doesn't make sense, and I think it might irk the fans a little bit. It comes across as lazy to me. Yeah, I think she'll be Final Four, possibly Final Four. There are two names that I think would probably be good winners. I think if Bayley's returning, I think it'll be awesome to see Bayley win, and she can have a match against Charlotte at Mania. I think that would be quite a good Grand Slam match. And considering how underused Bayley was at Mania last year by not being on the card, I think
she got to do a promo with Titus O'Neil and Hulk Hogan.
Yay! I think she deserves. I think a lot of fans want her to have a WrestleMania moment, like have a big match at WrestleMania. I mean, Sasha's had it, Charlotte's had it, Becky's had it. It's time for Bayley to have her moment, really.
You just mentioned Sasha. She's not on that list, you know.
She's not. I think she's still injured.
Okay.
She might come back again if
because she got injured on the house show recently, didn't she? I think it was.
Yeah. I mean, if Sasha was able to come back again, possible winner there. Because I think only 2 of the 4 horsewomen have won the Rumble, Becky and Charlotte. So again, rank up the numbers there. I don't think Sasha probably will be back. I think Sasha will be back for Mania, but I don't think she will be at the Rumble, to be honest.
I will say this when it comes to who I think will win. If it's a surprise return like a Bayley or similar, I think one or they will win.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I would like personally to see someone like a Shayna Baszler win, because I think that could be a really fun main event women's match at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
And the idea of her v Charlotte actually intrigues me as a title match.
I think if there had been some teasing of that over the last couple of months, maybe.
Agreed.
Again, it's like Baszler's been kind of non-existent on TV. That's the unfortunate reality of it. I think if it's not a returning star, the logical and probably the gut feeling tells me it's going to be a back-to-back for Bianca Belair. And I wouldn't be mad.
Which totally fine with.
I wouldn't be mad at. I think it'll be good. You have a historical moment. The first women's wrestler to do a back-to-back Rumble. It hasn't been done in 20 years across both Rumbles. Big superstar making moment again. Really
otherwise could be another Liv Morgan title match.
Yeah. I mean, there are some potentials there, but my gut tells me it's going to be one or two ways. It's going to end up one or two ways. It's going to be a returning person like Bayley, or it will be Bianca.
I'm game for Bianca. Like Bianca v Charlotte will be a great match.
But Bianca also has unfinished business with Becky. So there are two things.
Yeah, you know, she gets to choose the title match. I just keep thinking Charlotte because she's in the Rumble. Sorry.
Yeah. I'm going to take the belt off Charlotte. I mean, you could. I mean, would it have been funny if Charlotte was so arrogant in the creative storyline, not as a person, if Charlotte was so arrogant as a character to say, "I'm going to put my title on the line because I am that good." That would be again like another sort of, this could make the Rumble really interesting, like 2016 Roman Reigns.
Yeah, I'm so good. I'm going to beat everyone. I'll go in at number 1 and put my belt on the line.
I mean, again, that would be. I mean, yeah, it's carbon copying a little bit of the Brock Lesnar, but it adds the extra oomph of we may crown a new champion at this Rumble. It would be amazing.
This Rumble will now be a championship opportunity.
Championship Rumble.
So we go from the women's Rumble to the men's Rumble.
Yes.
Currently, 22 names have been announced, them being in no particular order as follows. Angelo Dawkins, Montez Ford, Rey Mysterio, Dominic Mysterio, Austin Theory, Johnny Knoxville of Jackass, saying that out loud, man, Sheamus, Damian Priest, AJ Styles, Big E, Happy Corbin, Madcap Moss, Sami Zayn, Kofi Kingston, Kevin Owens, Omos, Randy Orton, Riddle, Chad Gable, Otis, Dolph Ziggler, and Robert Roode.
Yes.
It's a good lineup for a Rumble, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, and we've still got some spaces still to fill. We've still got about 8.
So I will start this off by saying, I think you can add LA Knight into that.
Yeah,
because there was a video doing the rounds of him sort of having a backstage moment with Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode. So unless something happened on NXT that I'm not aware of, it wouldn't surprise me if that carries over into the Rumble.
There was no development on NXT last night about that, so my hunch, LA Knight turns up and is probably going to eliminate Dolph Ziggler as like a hello, and they'll have like a secondary feud going on in the background. I can't imagine it being like a huge program, but if it's a way to bring LA Knight up to the main roster, and again, it's like LA Knight seems to be pretty perfectly placed to be on the main roster now. He's a great talker. He's got the sort of look that McMahon looks for in terms of wrestlers. Age might be slightly against him, but again, if you want something for a good mid-card, upper mid-card talent for like the secondary belts, fine, bring him up, it'll be fun, and we can just keep let me talk to you. I like it when he just shouts let me talk to you.
So I just want to get this out the way now.
Yeah,
Johnny Knoxville's involvement in this Rumble I think is going to be utterly minuscule. Can I read you a story that will elaborate why I think this?
Okay.
So this is from the music news website loudwire.com. Very good website, by the way, people. Go and read it. So they have got, basically, they've sort of got a quote, that's the word I was looking for, from Johnny Knoxville. I'm just going to read this as follows. Okay. After more than 10 years of waiting, plus nearly half a dozen delays due to COVID-19, Jackass Forever will finally be released for fans in February. The film will be Johnny Knoxville's final blow for extreme stunts, as he suffered brain damage after being charged by a bull. Ow. The bull stunt was arguably the gnarliest of Knoxville's career. The stuntman suffered a broken wrist and broken ribs, plus a concussion that resulted in a brain hemorrhage. If you ask me, if someone has had literal brain damage because they got run over by a bull, I'm trying not to laugh as I say that because it's so absurd, I don't think they're going to be doing an awful lot in this Rumble.
That is true, but I think Knoxville would still have to pass a medical test to at least be able to get in the ring and do some moves. I imagine they will do the due diligence. They obviously have to when someone who's not... I mean,
will they?
That's another question. But
it's like if he takes
I think that's unfair to say on WWE. They have been pretty heavy. Not say heavy. They've been pretty on point. If they feel like there is a lot of danger for a certain performance, or they will not medically clear them.
I agree. I was being very facetious. I do retract that as well. For the record, I retract that. Yeah. But let's put it this way: I don't see him taking a brogue kick from Sheamus, for example.
No. I think what will happen is, I think you're right. I think it will be quite short. I ultimately think he'll either pop in, eliminate himself and Sami Zayn at the same time, or Sami Zayn will eliminate himself and Johnny Knoxville at the same time. That's the only way this is going. In a dream scenario, and if they planned and practiced this over and over again, I would love to see Johnny Knoxville just take a couple of random finishes from people, just to really sell that Jackass element of the film.
So let's be logical about this. I'm trying to think logically here. What could be the easiest maneuvers to probably do? I would say 619 is a very easy one to take.
619, yep. Yeah, 619 is good to take.
What else do we have? I'm just looking at the list of people. Kofi Kingston's got like Trouble in Paradise. That's a fairly obviously simple one. I mean, RKO potentially would be easy.
Yeah, could you go for a deep six?
It's very complicated, isn't it?
It's kind of like, you lift up. It's partially like a power bomb, but you just spin around like 360 degrees a couple of times and then just drop down. Maybe, I don't know. Trying to think what other
Big E's big ending.
Big ending. I mean, you could do a choke slam from Omos, maybe.
Outside the ring. That's how he'll get eliminated. It'll be Omos that eliminates him. I'm calling it now.
Or I reckon him from Damian Priest.
Yeah.
Could work. I mean, there are some potentials there. There are some phenomenal forearm from AJ Styles. There we go.
I was going to say, we ain't freaking seeing him taking a Styles clash.
He's definitely not taking a Styles clash. God no. But it's like if we took a couple of finishes or signature moves, I'd say that is job done. You've sold the movie to me. I'm still going to go see Jackass Forever because I watched it when I was younger and I have a soft spot for it. So
there is a what's the way to put this about Jackass? There is a part of me that really wants to see it because I know it's going to be utterly absurd, that I will laugh because of it. But there's also part of me that really doesn't want to see it because of how utterly absurd it's going to be. Because I used to watch it as well. Like I remember seeing the first one in the cinema.
I mean, I remember seeing, even with the Jackass Forever trailer, the one thing that stood out to me in the trailer was the one of the cyclists just riding into like a painted canvas, and I just broke down because it was so perfectly executed that you didn't realise it until he hit.
Yeah, honestly, Jackass, having seen like the old films in like a packed cinema, it's one of those films I would love to be in with a packed audience, but just with the way things are, I don't really want to be around many other humans in person, so
fair enough.
It may be one of those that I just have to like wait for it to be on VOD or something, but I do want to see it at some point.
So yeah, I think Johnny Knoxville will have his like celebrity moment or moments and then be promptly eliminated. It's kind of like a Drew Carey thing, and basically Drew Carey coming in, try and give Kane some money. It's like, hey, do you want some money? No. Okay, I'm getting out.
Okay, how's this for an idea? How's this for an idea which everyone in the world will hate?
Oh, no.
No, I'm not going to say he's going to win it. No, I'm not going that far. So, Johnny Knoxville ends up being one of the final four because he keeps taking people's finishers but ends up kind of rolling out of the ring or something. And he has to keep getting back in. And when he realises he's one of the final four, sees like the big hunks of meat that are in front of him, and he just he just eliminates himself.
He just goes. I've been a jackass, but I can't be a jackass in this situation.
Yeah, basically.
I'm off. Oh wow, I like that idea. I think
it's dumb, but it would actually make sense in a stupid way.
It would prolong the promotional side of things. So yeah, I can see that working. But
okay, so the other question I need to ask you, and this is partly because I think we should put a small friendly wager on this, not for actually anything in particular, but how many times during the Rumble match are we going to hear the phrase or something to the effects of Johnny Knoxville from Jackass Forever in cinemas, insert date?
I don't think we'll hear that entire sentence. I think we'll hear Jackass's Johnny Knoxville is still in the Rumble. We're still fighting through.
How many times effectively will the film be mentioned during the Rumble in some form?
Oh, we'll see the trailer during the Premium Live event. Don't worry, we'll see the trailer.
Oh, goody.
Oh, goody. Oh, God. Maybe. The one thing that I have found quite funny on SmackDown the last couple of weeks is Sami Zayn's attempt to be a jackass within Zayn, and there was a wonderful,
really good.
There's a wonderful promo bit he did this last Friday where he was testing, and I'm doing inverted commas for our audio listeners, testing tasers, because he was trying to show that he too could take the pain of a taser, and was mimicking trying to be shocked by a taser. Obviously everyone was in the fact that he was really chickening it out, and he just had someone playing sound effects going on. So it's like, and all that sort of stuff.
It's very, very hammed up, basically.
Yeah. And then Knoxville turned up and went, hang on, let me check. Oh, you haven't turned this on. And attempts to shock Zayn. But again, it's clearly not turned on because the sound effect comes in 2 seconds after Zayn's been shocked. It's like, oh no, he's been shocked. It's like, zzz, no. And then Knoxville throws him over the top rope again.
I'm going to be honest. In Zayn, Sami Zayn is a great gimmick name. I made that unintentionally rhyme. It wasn't my intention.
God, he did try and do a shopping cart jump over the ring the previous week, which he chickened out of doing. But then Rick Boogs, who now looks like Freddie Mercury, turned up and threw him across the ring. It's a nice look on him. I think it looks nice on Rick Boogs.
Oh, and Nakamura injured as well, then, I guess?
I think he's still technically injured because Sami Zayn's owed an Intercontinental Championship match at some point.
Is it still a conspiracy theory that he's not champion and whatnot?
Yeah. But anyway, we've been talking too much about Johnny Knoxville.
Who's going to win? Who do you think is going to win, Ian? If you've got to pick one from that list, obviously, if there's a surprise, it muddies the water.
In terms of potential surprise entrance, is there anyone you see realistically appearing that is not on that list?
Rick Steiner.
You mean Bron Breakker?
Sorry, Rick Breaker. Sorry,
Rick Breaker, Bron Breakker. I imagine we'll see a few NXT 2.0 names on there. Like you said, I think we'll see LA Knight. I think I would not be surprised if they bring out Bron Breakker to kind of highlight how cool Bron Breakker is. Yeah, Bron Breakker is all right. He's a good guy. He's a good wrestler. And I imagine we'll see Gunther, aka Walter, as well. So I don't think we'll have a Forbidden Door. People, there's that for, we could have Forbidden Door. In a dream world, yes, we would have someone. It's like, imagine if Cody really did turn up on Saturday. I think the internet would implode, to be perfectly honest.
Twitter may break.
It's like, and you just have everyone like, it's a work. It's really a work. It's like, but he's there and he's, I don't know.
It's not. It's like that time when Paul Heyman got fired by Vince McMahon. He was like caught on video, like making a deal with someone, and he just went, "That wasn't me." just glaringly eyed into Vince McMahon. That wasn't me.
Yeah, I honestly don't see any. If anyone is coming, if any surprise entrance is coming, it's going to be someone who was injured and is now returning. It is going to be either someone from NXT 2.0, might be someone from NXT UK, who knows? Or it will be someone who was recently released or has recently left the company, and through some bizarre means, they have decided to come back. Or it might be a Hall of Famer as well. Who knows? But I don't see anyone else from another company popping up, to be perfectly honest.
Will Kane be a surprise?
How many times can you wheel out Kane to go, look, it's Kane? I love Kane. I do. But, yeah. I think we're okay without Kane for this year's Rumble.
Mayor Kane.
Mayor Kane. Just Kane in a mask and the suit. So who is winning?
In terms of who's going to win, though?
I think the Brock and Roman thing has kind of thrown a wrench into this. Because it's like, there's the gut feeling here for me is whoever loses a belt, if they lose a belt, of course, the other one is going to enter the Rumble and they'll ultimately win, which I think would be frustrating. But I think if it's done in a good storytelling way, I think if the storytelling's done and the in-ring action works with it, I can see it working, and I wouldn't be that mad about it. I think I just ask, if you're going to go that direction, and it's signposts you're going in a direction, make it entertaining. That's my only thing. So I kind of think whoever's the logical sense, and knowing how WWE do things, the logic sense tells me that whoever's losing a belt is winning that Rumble. But if WWE think, hey, we can actually have a nice star-making moment for someone, the one I would love to see win is KO. I think KO is a dark horse. Imagine if Rollins actually wins the Universal Champion, you have a title. You have a great title thing there. Mm-hmm. Rollins and KO. Yes, they did it at the Performance Center Mania, but imagine in a full crowd.
Oh, they did as well, didn't they? I forgot that.
Yeah, it was a decent little match. But imagine big Mania. KO Mania's running wild again. Another KO t-shirt being released. All that sort of stuff. A big crowd.
Which one would it be this time? Would it be Mania 6? Like the Ultimate Challenge?
Because his first Rumble was 2016, I think.
So it'd be 6 then, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it'll be KO Mania 6.
So it'd be the Ultimate Challenge, like the one that was in the Sky Dome.
There you go, Ultimate Challenge. KO versus his best friend, Seth Rollins. Again, you've got a great title title for you there. And
Yeah.
I mean, considering KO has re-signed, you imagine something has definitely been offered to allow to entice KO to stay, and that's just a thought. It's not necessarily must be the reason why KO has resigned. This is like there must be something that has really made KO comfortably re-sign, even with the money. I don't know. Who knows? But that's besides the point.
Just to ask quickly,
yeah,
what's Big E's presence been like recently on TV?
Non-existent.
Oh, okay.
He was a backup
he might win.
Kofi. He was a backup for Kofi on SmackDown this past week when he took on Madcap Moss. He didn't have Xavier, so Big E popped along because Xavier Woods is currently nursing an injury.
Oh, really? That sucks.
I mean, I could again. I mean, if you want to really try and rebuild Big E and have Big E Lashley,
that's what I was going towards. Is like the idea of Big E and Lashley, two hunks of meat, just meeting in the middle of the ring at WrestleMania.
Smacking meat.
So yeah, if I'm going to pick anyone, I'm going to narrow it down to three. I'm going to say either AJ, Big E, or Owens. Those are my three picks based on that list. If there's a surprise, I may change my mind. Or rather, depending what surprises there may be, I will say.
Yeah.
They may change my mind. But based on that list, that's what I'm going with.
Again, imagine you don't have to do Reigns Lesnar for a title. You don't have to. Honest.
But it doesn't mean anything if there's no championship.
No. Maybe it's like loser has to retire, and maybe it's Lesnar's final deal with WWE. I doubt it.
Maybe it's a hair versus hair match, except it's Rollins' head hair versus Brock Lesnar's chest hair.
Brock Lesnar doesn't have
he's got his hair now, has he? He's got his ponytail.
Yeah, he's got his beard. He's got his beard and his hair.
I forgot because he was wearing a cowboy hat. I forgot.
Yeah. I'd say I see it either being Brock or Roman, to be perfectly honest, depending on what happens. I really don't want to see that, to be perfectly honest, but I'll accept it. I would say my strongest second pick would be KO. And Big E. Maybe Big E.
I thought you said Ricky for a sec. I'm thinking Ricky. Ricky who?
No. I think it'll either be Brock/Roman, KO, or Big E. It'll be one of those three. I can't see it being anyone else, to be perfectly honest.
And the Royal Rumble Premium Live event takes place this Saturday night UK time, everybody. Again, don't forget, Saturday night. Which means if you decide you're not going to stay up and watch it, literally you wake up Sunday morning, put on the network or wherever else you're going to watch it. But if you're buying a pay-per-view, fair play, I guess. Good
Rumble and toast. Rumble and toast.
There you go. Literally, oh mate, full English cooked breakfast and a rumble. Oh mate, chef's kiss.
You've given me ideas for Sunday. You have now.
Good.
All right, fine.
Just a giant fry up, and you're just watching a rumble. But that's a conversation for another day. We'll discuss that. We'll discuss what we did for breakfast next week on the show, everyone.